You're with NewsMakers. This is a special edition dedicated to the Liquor Law Review. We are with Peter Morrison, Nikki Wagner and Leanne Dalzell. The Law Commission has recommended winding back the clock big time on 24-hour licensing. They suggest off-licence premises be restricted to 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. and they want on-licence premises to be reined in as well. Starting with takeaway liquor, how tight should the hours of trade be? Nikki?
I think they should be tightened. There's absolute evidence that the more outlets and the longer they are, the more impulse buying, particularly for young drinkers, binge drinkers and heavy drinkers.
Many supermarkets are virtually 24/7, so I would imagine that if the Law Commission gets its way, we would see the return of the covers in supermarket aisles to alcohol, wouldn't we?
I'd be very happy about that.
Would you?
Yes, because there is a real serious issue about the late night impulsive buying, as Nikki said, but you're already liquored up. So the judgment is a real issue at those early hours of the morning with people out there buying liquor. I have a friend who worked in one of those 24/7 stores, and he said that he wasn't a meek, mild-mannered sort of guy. He was terrified of some of the people in the state they came in and felt threatened and sold liquor illegally to people who were already drunk because he felt he had no protection. So, I mean, I think that there is a serious issue about the takeaways. I think they should be shut down, whether it's 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I don't really mind what the time is, but they should be shut down in the law, not by licence.
All right. Peter, your comment?
I agree. I think it should be, I think 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. is not long enough for them to operate. Also, with it is the pricing comes into that.
Sure.
Because that is the major problem. Is loss leading and discounting by especially supermarkets.
Sure. I will come back to that theme in a moment. We're sort of ducking in and out of issues here. Speaking of winding back the clock for on licences, of course, Christchurch is well known for its one-way door policy, which has essentially kept the last entry time to, what, 3 o'clock for participating bars. Inspector Derek Erasmus, you may recall, was in the news recently. He was giving evidence to the Select Committee and he described the initiative as toothless, and he wants the last entry time wound back to 1 a.m. and the mandatory closing time set at 3 a.m. Peter, is the inspector right to call time?
No, because that was only his personal opinion. And he's also stated in his thing that 85% of the problem is not coming from on-premise licences. It's only 15% of the problem is coming from on-premise licences. 85% comes from people loading up with cheap drinks from supermarkets and coming into town. And if they do pull the hours back, you're going to get more people drinking in unsupervised premises.
Although, wouldn't the inspector say if you wind the clock back, those who do the loading up at home won't have as much scope and time to run amok in town?
Well,
because there might be a crowd to play to.
That's what they've said with the one-way door, and it hasn't really affected. It hasn't come. More people haven't come in earlier.
It went from 4 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I mean, come on, that's hardly a major change.
It's not that it's a different age group than you and me and we are. The young ones, they've got into the set now. They don't want to go out till 11 o'clock.
Well, they might have to change their ways.
We are an international nation, and we've got visitors coming from all over the world that do have 24-hour licences. We don't have.
They don't. Look, this is a nonsense to say that there are, all of these countries throughout Europe have 24-hour licences. They don't have people drunken, rolling in the streets.
They have licences.
No, but they don't. They don't. You walk through the streets of Paris after midnight, and there are some bars in some areas, but not
that's what I'm saying.
This sort of heathen
we don't want anything
of
closed
young
in
people.
Christchurch at 12 o'clock. The problem is not with the licences being open, it's the people that are causing the problems. And if you have intoxication and you have a drinking age of 18, that would go a long way to solving the problem.
I don't think it would be even enforceable, but I think that the idea that people have to leave a bar by 3 o'clock in the morning, I can't see the problem with that. The one-way door policy is an effective way of keeping people in one place where a bartender can see whether they're intoxicated.
All right, I'll let you be judge and jury here. We've had two very compelling perspectives. Would you wind the clock back further?
Well, personally, I would, because I have young people in my house and they sleep all the next day, and I feel that they waste their lives sleeping on a Sunday. But I do understand what Peter's talking about. I think we want better behaviour. If people behaved better, they could stay up all night.
How can a lawmaker initiate better behaviour.
A lawmaker cannot initiate better behaviour. Everybody has that choice within themselves.
Okay. By the way, how vigorously will the Hospitality Association fight this idea of an earlier closing time?
We're not pushing that at all. We don't want that to happen, and we've had discussions with the minister about it, and he's probably looking at 3 o'clock as well. He hasn't said that definitely, but we wouldn't want that to happen. If it did happen, we'd have to have be able to get special licences free and available for when we've got Rugby World Cups and when we've got All Black Tests and when All Blacks are playing South Africa and
3 a.m. in the morning
and things like that.
Yeah, special occasions can be dealt with by special licences, and I think.
But they have to be free. We wouldn't want to be paying the
that.
council $75 every time to get a licence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then that could be done.
Just a quick comment on the one-way accord. What proportion of city centre establishments are not part of the accord?
Any bars that open after 3 o'clock, I think there's only one that isn't a member.
Really?
Yeah.
Only one?
Yep.
Yeah. Are you surprised how...
There's a lot of the bars that are in the city, because there's probably 120 in the inner city, but a lot of them, there's only about 40 or 45 that actually open after 3 o'clock.
Are you disappointed at
There used
how...
to be 3 when I was.
Oh, you're ageing, Leanne.
Adam's Apple and.
Nightclubs.
Well, they were only nightclubs.
That's
The pubs
right.
closed at 11.
Inspector Erasmus, in terms of his characterisation of the one-way door policy at the moment, are you surprised how he has essentially badmouthed it? Toothless was his description.
Yes, and he's actually been to the court and sort of apologised for the way he described it, because it was a personal opinion. He thought he was talking directly to the Commission, and because we have written in writing and minuted that the City Council, the Crown Public Health, the police and the DLA are all, if it comes up to a policy review for the Christchurch City Council, they're quite happy to push the one-way doors, what we've already got at the moment.
All right. We'll take a break. Coming up, we'll have a look at drink driving, which is also under the government's radar with the Safer Journeys document. Also, liquor outlets. Do we have too many in Christchurch? And do we need more scope to decline an application? That's coming up.